If I'm being completely honest, I really didn't think anyone would care about this situation. For those of you who don't know because you're too employed to care, I made a video recently talking about Xenoblade because people wouldn't stop talking about it in my comments. Long story short, I didn't like the game, I got bored so much that I was dragging myself making the video because I thought literally no one would care about a Xenoblade video because no one plays it anymore. Fortunately, or maybe unfortunately, depending on how you look at it, people did watch my video. Perhaps too many people watched my video. Yeah, a lot of people had some choice words to say about my video talking about my initial thoughts on Xenoblade. Now, I could talk about all the 1,000 or so individual comments in a Daily Dose of Stupid type video because I didn't have enough people call me an Eclipse clone. But who cares? My video was more popular than his, and I got further than him in my video. So, might makes right.
You should be getting pregnant
as young as possible. No. Whoa.
And before we move forward with the video, I quickly want to thank today's partner, CyberGhost VPN, for sponsoring this video. With over 38 million users worldwide and over 20,000 excellent reviews on Trustpilot, it's one of the best VPNs out there. So a brief overview on why you should check out CyberGhost VPN. Well, a VPN is essential for protecting your digital privacy. Plenty of eyes are watching you every time you go online, and do you really think incognito mode is doing anything to stop that? It's as good as a dark mode for your browser, your internet service provider, your school or work's IT department, even your home Wi-Fi router. They can all track what you do online, but thankfully, CyberGhost VPN comes in. Simply select one of their over 100 locations before you browse to encrypt and reroute all of your traffic through their secure servers. This way, not a single soul will even know about your online activity. CyberGhost also unlocks geo-restricted games and content from over 40 streaming platforms like Netflix, Amazon Prime, and Disney+. I wanted to rewatch The Good Place, one of my favorite series of all time, the other day on Netflix, but it was made unavailable in America for some reason. Maybe we are living in the bad place. Luckily, I was able to switch to the UK server and view it no problem. Not only can you access more shows and movies, but you can even score better deals online by simply changing your virtual location. It works on all major devices and operating systems like Windows, macOS, Android, and iOS. Plus, you can protect up to 7 devices at the same time. Perfect for sharing with your friends and family. With my link in the description, you get their best deal ever, just $2.03 a month, plus 4 months for free, which is 84% off. There's even a 45-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. It's a great product that I can definitely recommend, and by signing up using the link in the description, you also help me to create more videos like this one. With that, let's get back to the video. Anyways, I'm here to talk because apparently my video riled up the Xenoblade community so badly that they're still talking about my video, literally, as I'm writing this script. And practically worse than Epstein to this niche Roblox community. It got so bad that there were multiple response videos to my own that have been made since. I mean, I guess, bro. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I cackled when I was told that people made response videos to mine. The very idea that my video had the potential to get an entire community talking about my content was tantalizing. I mean, not a single one of those guys liked my video, but any publicity is good publicity. I guess it also goes towards the game as well because Xenoblade got like 50% more active players since my video went up. Before we start, please do not harass anyone mentioned in the video. I shouldn't have to say this, but I know half my audience is full of underdeveloped fetuses. Dislike bombing or sending hate comments won't do anything to help, and it's just chud behavior. Like I said before, this situation gave me a good laugh more than anything because this is just ridiculous. I'd rather you guys send some love over to these guys with a like and sub, so I'll link the videos in the description, but watch this video first. Get this video to 3,000 likes if you want me to play an actually good game, and while you're here, press the hype button to show this video some love if you're on mobile. We're trying to get to 50k subs this year, so that'd be awesome. But otherwise, let's start the first video by Makeshift, or Gluttony as he goes by, titled Cumin's Voxel Review is Terrible!
In today's story, we have Cumin, who made a really bad Xenoblade game review video on YouTube.
First of all, thank you, Gluttony, for actually pronouncing my name correctly. Most of my viewers can't even do that.
Cumin played 10% of Xenoblade and then made a review video.
Okay, let me just clear things up because most of my videos are first impressions and not actual reviews. I know I've been a bit wishy-washy on whether I explicitly state that my videos are first impressions, because as far as I know, I've never said that my videos were reviews except for like block tales. Anyways, I'll probably be a bit more consistent going forwards just so that there's no more confusion or ambiguity.
Naturally, the first 50% of Xenoblade is not new player friendly and very bad to experience for the first time.
Let me just stop you right there. In all honesty, I shouldn't have to say it, but if you have to trudge through a slog of an early game just to see if the game gets good, I've already stopped caring at that point. If I have no reason to keep going, then I'm not gonna keep going.
Now, if you want a big breakdown of why I disagree with his video, I left a comment on his video that has more effort put into it than this YouTube video.
Now, I'm gonna be completely honest, I didn't see this comment in like the sea of 1,000 or so comments in my video, so consider this a consolation response for missing your original comment.
In his video, a point he makes is that magelings have
Low cooldown, instant cast, hit scan attack with 100% accuracy that will always stagger.
This is not true. Mageling's main attack has a very short wind-up time and animation, during which you can block. A Mageling's secondary attack, its explosion, can be interrupted with any M2, and has a very large wind-up time.
In hindsight, I legitimately don't know why I used this clip to demonstrate my point, because it's literally the first encounter I ever had with a Mageling, and it was the only time I ever died to one. You can literally just take them down with brute force with no problems, but then again, my point wasn't that they were necessarily hard to beat, it's just that it's annoying to get picked off at range. People were telling me that the range attack does have a wind-up. You see, right there is when it's gonna shoot you. I legit thought that it was just the enemy pathfinding tweaking, because that's what it was doing 2 seconds earlier. I thought a wind-up animation for a beam attack would be something like charging magic energy or something, not a mild sneeze. Moving on.
Another point he makes is that you are level locked. This is not true. You are never level locked to do anything except for the main quests.
So, I'm still level locked.
And the main quests are hardly a good way of leveling up.
Gee, I wonder why.
In another section, he talks about preemptively blocking and thinking you're making a 300 IQ play
against the AI, but then is just sitting there doing nothing while you're also sitting there doing nothing.
In the clip he shows off, you can very evidently see the Bud Boy walking into a wall and getting stuck. It is only when the Bud Boy gets into attack range that he attacks.
Personally, I don't get the inconsistency in beam attack ranges. Like, why is this one so sensitive that it needs to be on my level to actually shoot while other enemies just shoot whenever? I don't know, but that's just me. Nothing to do with the actual video though.
I mentioned in my final thoughts bit of my comment that he doesn't ask anyone for help and dives headfirst into an RPG, plays the first 10%, and makes a review to call it bad.
Anyone else think that it's weird that the only games people expect you to do background research, even on a basic level, just to enjoy the game, are Roblox games and like Minecraft? I don't care what people say, I'm gonna keep giving my thoughts 100% blind.
The fact that I can debunk everything he says with some basic game knowledge makes the video feel fundamentally in bad taste, and the only conclusion I can come to is that the sheer purpose of it is rage bait engagement farming. This is, of course, correct. Every video on Cumin's channel is just calling random Roblox RPGs glazed and bad.
Not to sound like a broken record, because this isn't the first time I've said this, but let's say, for the sake of argument, that these aren't my unfiltered opinions on the games that people ask me to play. Let's just say that I only cherry-picked the stuff I don't like, or I'm being disingenuous about the things I say in the video for the sake of engagement. By biting the bait, you still fell hook, line, and sinker. But less so for you, Gluttony, since you actually made a video on the subject. Get that bag up, twin. Also, in the very screenshot you used to demonstrate that my whole channel is negative, and like the 11 or so videos about specific games I play, half of them feature games that I actually like. Xenoblade isn't the first community to paint me as some rage bait content farm. Cumin never makes videos on the games he likes. Brother, you choose to specifically ignore them. A little bit into the video, he puts on the screen that I never check stats, guilds, or builds. I mean, obviously, I have to check my stats in a freaking RPG, but it's just that I never bothered to put a clip of it just for the sake of proving that I know armor exists. Shocking, I know. And yes, I am aware that my armor is garbage and has not so great synergy, but I honestly don't know if I need to tell you that it's normal for players in games to not have a defined build when they're not even in the late game when that stuff is necessary. When it comes to guilds, I really don't care for them in games. I remember back in the early days of my channel, I was asking my community for what guild or gang or whatever to join in a bizarre day. But I look at the Discord server because all you had were predefined gangs made by the guys in the Discord, and they all seemed miserable. So I decided that I couldn't care less about joining a bunch of 12-year-olds to do nothing of value. That's just a personal story of mine, but I just do not care regardless. Anyways, it was an alright video. Moving on to the next video by Hyren, titled In Defense of Voxelblade, Cumin Review.
So never bothering to learn something doesn't entirely mean the system is bad. In fact, crafting is a good part of the game as it pushes you to learn more and rewards you for doing so, as crafting items increases your level and gives you SP, something you probably don't even know what it is.
You earn SP as you level up.
If you purposefully ignore something that blatantly has quests and mechanics telling you how it works, that is completely on you and not at all on the game. Like in your video, you can click on materials to see the name of them. Simple deduction proves that things like the boulder chunk would be from a mob called the boulder. Or better yet, a bunny fur is from a bunny.
I mean, when it comes to the one quest that I found where I had to grind for materials and inevitably craft something with those materials, it just sounded so tedious because fast travel sucks and I really didn't feel like killing mobs for random drops to satisfy a quest. Those kinds of quests are my least favorite, even in my favorite games. Also, my thought process through the game was that I was new, but I was taking a lot of damage and I don't want to keep resetting to go back to full health. I look at how to craft a potion and it says I need an item called a prickly pear. I look through the items encyclopedia, except oops, it isn't finished! I looked through the bestiary, and as you'd expect, you can only look up the info on enemies you've already beaten. None of the enemies I fought dropped prickly pears. Therefore, I used my masterful deduction skills to come to the conclusion that if none of the enemies I fought dropped this basic item, therefore it must not come from an enemy, but instead some plant has to be harvested because it's a fruit. All it says in its description is that it's prickly. Incredible! Could I have crafted other stuff? I mean, probably, but this is somehow all I was able to scrounge up in the couple of hours that I played casually, so I really didn't feel like grinding for materials.
Got your block as a defensive option, but that kind of sucks because blocking has a short cooldown. Now, this isn't too offensive in of itself. Normally, you can buffer your block input after an attack to immediately block when your attack's finished. However, you cannot buffer block while it's on that cooldown.
Blocking as a mechanic is actually well made, despite what you say. Despite popular belief, you should be punished for just spamming the block button, because that's not the point of the block. Voxelblade's mechanics are centered around pacing. Sure, you could just spam M1 or M2, but you'll be punished for that. Mobs purposefully attack on intervals and have attack patterns, meaning there is time for you to attack and time for you to play defensively. Just because the combat isn't just 1,000 flashy lights in your screen doesn't mean it's poorly made or boring.
When you get hit by an enemy, you stagger and cannot act. You're unable to buffer block while staggered. This might be the first game I've ever seen that doesn't at the very least buffer your block through stagger.
When you get hit stunned, you are stunned. However, when you hit a mob, it is stunned. I know, it's crazy. Did you know that there are actually a lot of other games that do this? This is not the only game you've played that does it. Yet again, if you are just getting hit without defending yourself, you will be punished. A system that doesn't inherently punish you for performing poorly is a bad system.
That's literally not the problem I was talking about at all. I was saying that while normally there's an input buffer to automatically block while the character is able, the input buffer literally doesn't work while the block is on cooldown, nor when you are staggered. I never said that you should be able to spam block or be able to block while staggered. I'm saying that a quality of life feature that the game has is buggy, and even YBA, frickin' YBA, figured it out.
Your bizarre adventure.
Screw Paragon!
Level locks are an important mechanic to games in general. Level locks are an important mechanic in a lot of open-based games, because if you don't have a level lock, you will walk in a straight line, complete the entire main quest, and most players will choose to ignore literally all of the content, like yourself. They force you to do other quests, to kill new mobs, to find shrines, to find literally anything, to look around. Because if you don't do that and you literally only follow a compass, you're not going to learn anything. If you purposefully go into a game without the intention of wanting to learn the game, you will not learn the game.
In game design, there's a spectrum when it comes to gating progression where there's fabricated progression gating, like getting enough MacGuffins in a platformer in order to unlock the next world, and there's more natural progression gating, like getting an item in a Zelda game or Metroidvania that lets you complete a puzzle. I'm not saying that one is good or bad because both are often necessary, but it's obviously easier to fabricate a gate to progression than to make one that's natural. Level locks obviously lean into the more fabricated category because there's no emotional attachment to the challenge that lies beyond the level lock prior to actually unlocking it. With the platformer example, you literally have no idea what the next world is going to be like. It's a complete surprise what's behind that door. With the Metroidvania example, let's say you come across a locked door. Nothing you do will open it, so you move on from the puzzle, feeling frustrated. You later unlock a new item that breaks the specific type of door open, and you have your eureka moment because it was was your brain that put 2 and 2 together and not the game telling you that you can now progress through the game. You can see how level locks are more like the first example than the second. You can like level locks all you want, but there's nothing more discouraging than to see your progress blocked only to be unlocked, not through engaging challenges, but through tedious and formulaic quests that put you to sleep. Also, make this process 90% of the game. Lather, rinse, repeat. I'm just gonna say it. Level locks are a crutch used by incompetent devs who cannot design a difficulty curve because you say that the player will just move in a straight line and not engage with the world, but I look over to Arcane Odyssey. That game doesn't have level locks. I think it actually got them removed because the game is more engaging without them. Instead of locking all progression until you reach an arbitrary level, it just gives a level recommendation. Still, it doesn't stop you. If you're confident you can take on the challenges, you can go right ahead, but otherwise, it'd be smart to level up first. If you go to the boss and get beaten to a pulp, that creates that emotional connection. And if you decide to turn back and grind, you know exactly what to grind for if you want to beat that boss that's been giving you that same trouble. When you're finally ready, you beat the boss and get that eureka moment when your strategy worked. It's more rewarding to the player because they accomplished the task thanks to their own judgment and not because the game said they were ready to do so. It's a simple yet effective psychological trick to make a game's progression feel more satisfying.
But I knew if I somehow had the patience to wait for the stupid rift to open back up, there's still no chance that I'd have the patience to go through yet another steep level lock.
Rifts have a timer to punish you for not progressing and learning. You purposefully will lose if you do poorly, if you don't have good gear. Anything like that. In your clip, your gear is fucking awful. Mageling hood, mage blade, and then Bumble's shirt, and then Plains Woof leggings. In any other game, would you combine physical damage with magic damage on a magic weapon? No, you wouldn't. You want to know why you wouldn't? Because it's obvious that you shouldn't. So why is this game different for you? Why is this game a game where you choose not to look at the statistics of an item and you purposely ignore that to be weaker? I don't, maybe, hear me out. Maybe I'm the one in the wrong here and I'm the weak one. You never know.
I mean, I don't think I've seen an RPG before have a timed lockout for whenever someone attempts a world challenge, and frankly, I think it's stupid if you want to try to face a rifts again or face them after someone else does it but it's temporarily locked out. I guess that's just me then. Also, yeah, like I said before, I know my gear is garbage. I stacked whatever gear I could find with magic damage because, like I said before, I'm not hard locking into a certain playstyle this early into the game, unless it's just a thing in the community where you're expected to know your playstyle on the get-go. On another note, buying armor is kinda annoying because, yeah, there are a couple armors to buy in towns like you expect, but some armors just drop from enemies, when it'd make way more sense for them to drop crafting materials to make armors. Yeah, I know you can already make armors, but enemies dropping whole pieces of armor is weird in my eyes. Also, some armors are just sold in random places, and that combined with no map, how do you expect me to just find all these spots?
But not human! They're there so you can explore!
If you're gonna have gear as rewards for exploration, make it like from a chest or something. If I find a chest, I just have to get it and forget it. It's in my inventory. As it is now, if I decide, for whatever reason, to not buy the gear right then and there, I'm forced to keep it in the back of my mind for later if I ever feel the need to buy it and just pray that I remember the exact location.
Every side quest I have to do in the meantime is a variation on defeat 8 snowmans or deliver some random item to an NPC in the middle of nowhere. Occasionally you get a quest where you have to grind for a specific loot drop for an enemy, so that's awesome.
Complaining about difficult quests in any game, not even just Xenoblade, makes zero sense to me because they are side quests. Just don't do them. You aren't required to do a quest. You aren't required to do the main quest that you actively complain about. There's no incentive. You don't have to. It's an open world game.
My complaint wasn't that the quests were too hard, but that they were an actual snooze fest to go through. What kind of person hears defeat 8 snowmans and has their timbers completely shivered? Also, the you don't have to do it argument is frankly moronic. And I really don't want to say that because you obviously made this video in good faith, but if it's in the game, then you're obviously expected to do it. Whether it's required for beating the game or not is irrelevant, because you don't just add content you don't want people to do.
When you launch up Skyrim, which I know comparing a real game to a Roblox game is weird, but hear me out. When you open Skyrim and you get that main quest, do you walk in a straight line from point to point? Is that what you, because if that's what you do, my bad. But usually people will have that main quest and have it on the side, and they will go look at other stuff, and then they will come back to it. And that's what you're supposed to do in this game. It's no different. Sure, having a compass to point at it is like a kind of like a, hey, look, you can do the main quest. But that's why the level lock exists, is to stop you from just autopiloting, having TikTok in your right hand while walking with your left. There's a purpose behind it that you are ignoring, intentionally, more than likely.
I haven't played Skyrim, but to use another non-Roblox RPG as an example, Xenoblade has plenty of side quests. Personally, when I play games, I focus on the main story and do side quests when I deem a good use of my time. I'm not the kind of guy that feels the need to complete most, if not every, side quest in the area before continuing the story. In the case of Xenoblade, there's more incentives to doing side quests without helping people, raises your affinity with them, and unlocks new stuff. And there's more than just defeat 8 snowman's quests. In Xenoblade 1, you're helping rebuild the destroyed Colony 6. In Xenoblade 2, you have the merc missions that are done by your blades in the background, as tedious as they may be. There's also the unique blade quests that each blade character you unlock has and are required to max them out. Xenoblade 3 has the hero quests to unlock new party members that, while optional, increase your build potential massively. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be a completionist, by the way. It's just that in every game I play, I prioritize MSQ content over side content.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that this game's world is too freaking big! I eventually die and have to walk the entire way back because people love walking in empty boring maps for some reason. And most of my gameplay is of me running across this barren world doing absolutely nothing of value. This isn't gameplay. This is a walking simulator.
No, it's not. Fun fact, if you bothered to kill bunnies in the spawn point, or take the bunny quest, which you complain about quests even existing for some reason, you would find out that there are armors that increase your movement speed. Complaining the world is too large can make sense in some scenarios.
My complaint wasn't that there's side content to do. My complaint was that the side content becomes a requirement, and that required content isn't even good.
However, in a case where you actively claim the game to be an open world game, but also complain about exploring the open world game, does not add up to me.
Hear that? Let's put a pin on this for later.
If you run around randomly on a map, you are bound to do nothing. You can run around for an hour in a game like Debunking and do nothing, fight nothing, learn nothing. It's about having that self-set or quest-based goal that should be your reason to explore. You know, you found this new tundra. Oh, let me run around in the tundra. Oh, I'm taking cold damage? Oh, that means I gotta be fast. Things like that, that internal dialogue of finding a new area and wanting to explore it is what makes an open world game good. And so if you ignore exploring, what are you here for?
My thought process for when I discover a new area is to find the individual quest givers because Voxelblade has that built-in locator for quest givers. I find each of them, accept their quests, and then I mostly pick and choose which ones to do first. It's why for most of my video my quest tracker is completely stacked. On an unrelated note, I hate games with limits to quest tracking because there's no reason why you should limit the amount of quests I can take on at one time. I like having that big to-do list after talking to every NPC so I can check off side quests one at a time.
With a crappy open world, there's always the Glaze Brigade to defend whatever game I criticize in the comments, saying that this moron expects this open world game to be not open or world.
So this is a made-up argument. I don't know if you've heard what a straw man argument is, but when you do not actively see something from someone else's perspective, their point of view, your once opinionated media is now just complaining.
Bro, I wish this was a straw man argument, but one of the most common things people say on my videos is just them hand-waving away my arguments by claiming that I just hate the concept of open worlds, and I just gotta explore even harder when I say that the map design doesn't feel like a good open world. You even said...
However, in a case where you actively claim the game to be an open world game, but also complain about exploring the open world game, does not add up to me.
Earlier in your video,
there are often quests where you have to kill X amount of enemies, but you encounter hordes of enemies before you can even get to the NPC with the appropriate quest.
Running past enemies is literally the easiest thing in the world. I don't get the argument here. Yet again, look at Debunking. There's a whopping 1 enemy within a minute run right here, at Songseeker. I have to go across an entire river, run up this cliff, to find 1 more enemy. So why is Voxelblade different in this comparison here?
Isn't it convenient how you skipped over the editor's note I put right after, specifically made to provide clarity because I didn't feel my original statement was true to how I felt. I'm not the kind of guy to go, you took me out of context, you took me out of context. But when you omit the addendum I put specifically for this purpose, just to make the same point yourself, to pretend that it's a counter argument towards me, it's just too better, man.
Okay, let's do another fun fact. The sword shrines are hidden away because they are a reward for exploring. You unlock these fast travels for exploring the area. They aren't everywhere, and they shouldn't be everywhere. They are hubs for fast travel, which you speak on later, and boy, we'll get to that.
What kind of game has basic fast travel be a secret reward for exploring? I know Xenoblade has secret fast travel points, but they supplement the normal fast travel points and not replace them. It's like the dev purposely made fast travel bad so they can pretend that their game is unique and quirky. I said in my video, what's the point of fast travel if it doesn't get you anywhere important?
The world doesn't have a map, yes. And while maybe it could benefit from one, it would only ever be used for people just starting out and never again.
You hear that? That means that it would improve the new player experience. I know you think it doesn't matter because experienced players have the world memorized, but a new player doesn't have that. Unless your game is literally a straight line from point A to B, your game will benefit from a map.
As literally everything in the world is connected and in a circle. God forbid you explore. Many open world games have maps because of how large their maps are in the grand scale.
I don't care if it's interconnected. Having a map that tells you where certain NPCs you discovered are, where sword shrines are, or where different shops are will go a long way towards quality of life, regardless of whether it's open world or not.
Fun fact, when people like myself started playing this game, in the very, very early stages, right when it released, there was no wiki or Trello. Back in my day, we had to walk uphill both ways in the rain. Like, no. We learned where stuff was because we looked for it. We looked around the map. Experience be damned, if you have no experience and you choose not to gain experience, yet again, what are you doing?
You say to explore, but when I go to a major town and look for a fast travel point to come back later, my intuition tells me that it'd be in the town or near the town like every other game ever. Wrong! It's actually in some random dark crypt, hundreds of studs from the town, dimwit. Why would you ever expect things to be where you'd expect them to be?
There are entire biomes that straight up do not have a fast travel point.
Let me butt in here again. In your clip, you purposefully ignored a shrine to make your point. The Void Cliffs is a shrine, and is also where you can get to the Vampire and Curse Guild and the Desert and the Deadlands and the Bastion. Even with the wiki and a map pulled up, you still didn't see a shrine. And honestly, that's kind of impressive.
This is literally a screenshot from the wiki. I don't know how you can blame me when the fans that are expected to keep this game alive don't even know this shrine exists.
And again, why should you be allowed to skip the entire world when moving around the map with speed gear, literally default bunny armor, is literally a mechanic that you are meant to use? There are a small amount of shrines because they hit every single map point, every single point of interest.
Wow, a single shrine is near a town. This completely changes everything. Also, what the heck are you skipping by placing a sword shrine near important POIs? You literally already discovered them. You said yourself that the fast travel is a reward for exploring. If only it was actually useful.
If you have an open world game, you need to have a good fast travel system, period. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
A good fast travel system. No, you don't. I get it, running around can be sucky, but yet again, let's use your strategy of comparing and look at Deep Woken. If I wanted to get from Etris all the way to Starswept, it would take nearly 10 minutes of boating around. Lame, boring, whatever. However, if you get a better boat and an R comparison that would be more movement speed in Voxelblade, you can cut this time down. You can cut it down because one of the only fast travels in Deep Woken is Hive Shrines. This is a singular hub of teleports, which goes to very limited locations, so why do people not complain about that? Because in all actuality, that is inherently a poorly made fast travel system, no? Why can't you just press a button and teleport to Etris? Why can't you press a button and teleport, I don't know, to Erysia? Because traveling around the map is part of an open world game. That's the world style. That's how it is.
I never played Deep Woken, but that sounds miserable. Like, Zelda Wind Waker also has the thing where you have a ship and the more traditional fast travel that you unlock, but the fast travel sounds a lot more generous despite also being limited while also having the movement speed upgrades like in Deep Woken. I don't want to keep comparing non-Roblox games, but Wind Waker is like 2 decades old. I know Wind Waker seems bigger than Voxelblade because of the ocean, but the actual land area you walk on is probably just as, if not smaller, than Voxelblade.
Still, there isn't a single thing in this game that I wouldn't consider half-baked. Like, there are games that I played with individual aspects that are worse than Voxelblade, for sure.
Calling literally everything in a game half-baked is a super broad claim that has, yet again, no backbone to it. Let's take literally one mechanic into thought here, the sword mechanic. This is an in-depth system of synergies and combination. It literally is better to be creative and combine random things than to just follow the path of 2 of the same part 99% of the time.
To be honest, I was kind of ambivalent towards the sword customization because I knew that I didn't get far enough to see all the things it could do, and that's why I didn't put it in either the positive or negative section of the video. However, I do see how my words come across as me bashing it, so that's on me. Overall, it's been fun talking about these videos. It's certainly been more fun than actually playing Voxelblade. Still, I do not want any hate towards these guys being sent. It's dumb and stupid. This video was meant to be made just for fun, and these guys made a video defending a game they like because some moron's video got more popular than expected. You'll have a hard time convincing me to try Voxelblade again, but who cares? Apart from the Voxelblade Discord server, because they are literally still talking about me as I'm recording! Otherwise, that's all from me, and I'll see you next time. Also, what the heck are the Keyman files? Oh no! Oh god, it's so over for me.